All right, guys, we are going to talk about this thing that's been taking the internet by storm recently, and it's all about the Tendernism. See you guys on the other side.
This is 5 Minutes with Mike. Our news, our voice, our issues. Believe that.
All right, so it's been a lot of debate. It's been a lot of accusations. It's been a lot of stuff going on when it comes down to the Mr. Tendernism Chronicles. So for all you guys that don't know, because honestly I didn't know who this person was or what this business was, what it was, until it started showing up in my feed. But if y'all didn't know, Mr. Tendernism is basically Unc, or you can call him an elder or a grandpa at this point. I think he's beyond Unc, but anyway, on the internet he's known as Unc. Tendernism, man, he goes. I'm not gonna mention the name of this restaurant because I don't want anybody supporting this restaurant. By the way, because I'm not a fan of the owner of it, but we'll get into that in a second. But yeah, Mr. Tendernism basically was the face of this particular restaurant. He's showing their, oxtails and ribs and lamb chop. I mean, all kind of stuff. Just tender off the bones type shit. Okay, just that. You know what I'm saying? All that he got going on when it come down to the tenderism mantra, right? So, all this dude's, IG and all these TikTok videos gone viral. And then, and it's drew people from all over to this particular restaurant in, Southern California. Now, mind you, I wouldn't have a problem with shouting out the name of this particular restaurant if it wasn't for the antics of the said owner of the restaurant that I'm going to talk about in a second, okay? So, Mr. Tenderism does his thing, you know what I'm saying? Place blows up. And guess what? A lot of businesses, especially where, black folks think that maybe this black man owns this restaurant, they start showing up in droves. You hear, people flying out from everywhere. And so now people are showing up on account of this elderly black man, doing his thing, off the bone. One thing that black people love is some good food. And then especially if we know that we supporting our own, right? At the same time, we gonna show up. You know what I'm saying? We do support our own businesses. People always say black don't support black businesses. Yeah, we do. We go to black barbershops. We go to black churches. We go to black food joints. We go to black salons, black salon places all the time. What happens is the fact that it ain't the fact that, blacks don't support businesses. And I can think about a business right now in Houston, Texas. The place was called Turkey Leg Hut. Lines were wrapped around the corner. That's why I can imagine what type of lines were probably happening at this particular restaurant. And maybe still happening to this day, right? But lines were wrapped around the restaurant. What killed that restaurant was mismanagement. Mismanagement of funds, inappropriate behavior on the act of the owner, which the husband of the owner, of one of them, it was a husband and wife team, okay, that owned Turkey Leg Hut, right? But the owner, the husband, did some inappropriate things, including being accused of larceny and a couple other crimes for which he's in jail for today. And then, and obviously that business, unfortunately, could not survive all the BS that happened with the mismanagement of money, mismanagement of funds, and the crimes that, was committed by this particular owner. It just, the business could not last. And then there are other things that played a part to Turkey Leg Hut's demise. But guess what? I see with my own eyes. I seen black folks lined up around the restaurant to get in. You know what I'm saying? Supporting black-owned businesses. Okay? So, fast forward, like I said, going into this particular business.
This episode of 5 Minutes with Mike is brought to you by Michael D. Beckford's newest book, HOMEBOYS. Everybody has a homeboy, or friends call his own. The best friend you kick it with at the family barbecue. The one you trust to bring around your lady without raising a red flag. A homeboy will play video games, smoke, and chill. A homeboy is a nigga you can ride or die, and the one you sleep with on the low. HOMEBOYS, available in ebook and paperback or wherever books are sold.
Right? Mr. Tendernism. Okay? Black people thinking it's a black people business. Alright, cool. Let's say, now we know for the most part that it's not a black owned business. Mr. Tendernism is essentially the face of the business. Well, Keith Lee, who is, entrepreneur himself, black, we all know who Keith Lee is, right? He is a well-known food critic, viral. Everything he touches goes viral, right? For the most part, in a good way, all right? Everything he touches goes viral. And of course, over the years, some owners have had spats with him. I can think of something that happened a couple years ago in Atlanta. They weren't happy with him going in and they not knowing about it. Well, that's the whole point. Keith Lee wants to go in without you knowing about it. He wants to get the same type of service that average, regular, stegular people get. He don't want no VIP. He don't want none of that stuff. He want to give the raw end of everything of how he was treated and how was the food. Okay, so that's what Keith Lee does. So he goes to this particular restaurant, and naturally, he wants to meet with Mr. Tendernism. Okay, well, apparently, according to Keith Lee, Mr. Tendernism was surrounded by a couple of security people. So Keith Lee couldn't meet him at the time. So Keith Lee had a bag of cash, about $4,000 or $5,000, that he was gonna give him a tip. Well, after doing Keith Lee doing his review on the restaurant and things like that. Well, unfortunately, the restaurant turned him away from being able to give him that tip, give Mr. Tendernism the tip. And then on a later video, after Keith Lee had done what he had done, Keith Lee decided to just pay for people food and things like that with the money that they denied to give Mr. Tendernism, this old elderly man that's basically brought so much money, in the thousands of dollars, I would assume, to this particular restaurant. Well, come to find out in a later video, the owner, which looks like a hostage video, to me, the owner, Mr. Tendernism, and some big black security guard is in the background. They're having this conversation about, this true owner, right? The white owner is saying, oh, well, I wish Keith would have told me, we would have did this and had this and that. Once again, that ain't what Keith Lee does. He ain't going to tell you he coming there to the restaurant. He going to pull up. He going to pull up just like, food inspection safely. He's just going to pull up and he going to show out. So he had a little bit of a problem. And it's not like the review that Keith Lee gave was really bad. It wasn't a bad review. It just, was a review of his honest opinion of what he thought. And especially when it came down to the tip. And so this is what a controversy started. People like, wait a minute. You gonna deny this black man from this elderly black man from me to get a tip? From this, from all the service that he brought in? It's one thing that we ain't even know to do, that you was the owner. All right, cool. But it's another thing that you denying this man from me to get a tip from all the business he brought into the restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Especially for that sum of money, right? So that was another thing. Now, the newest, and so then, the two newest things that we've seen is the owner, who don't have no swag like Mr. Tendernism got. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly, the owner now had filed a registered trademark for the Tendernism name, which, how often we see this, right? You get, you got a black person now that's, the face of said brand, like Aunt Jemima, you know what I'm saying? Uncle Ben, right? But they don't get the credit for any of it. You know what I'm saying? Essentially. And when I mean the credit, I ain't talking about being just the face of it. Popeye's lady, right? I'm talking about having ownership, right? And you don't got to be a 50-50 partner, but having some kind of equity, even if let's say you get $1 for each peach pie that's sold. That's equity. You know what I'm saying? or 50 cents for every, Sprite that's sold inside the store. That's just a little bit of equity. You don't got to have 50-50, but some kind of equity is better than none, you know? And so at the end of the day, I don't know what their financial agreement is. I don't know I don't know it. They haven't revealed it specifically at the time of this recording. But what I do know is that this guy, the white owner, he comes off to me as a fraud, personally. You know what I'm saying? He comes off that way to me. Okay? Now, I'm not saying he is a fraud. I'm not saying that he specifically defrauded a specific person, but his behavior shows me that of an individual that's fraudulent, okay, or has the ability to maybe tread into that area, okay, you know what I'm saying? And so, at the end of the day, he wants to do these videos now, right? He wants to get in video, dude. You got no swag. Y'all, oxtails, that's a lot of that stuff is a Jamaican thing, you know what I'm saying, or, a black person thing. Ain't too many white people doing, oxtails, all right? You know what I'm saying? Let's just be real here, bruh. So, you got that going on. And then, now you, what else? Oh, apparently, after all this drama with the Keith Lee stuff happened, bruh man sent, Mr. Tendernism, and when I say bruh man, I'm talking about the owner, sent Mr. Tendernism on a first flight home somewhere, wherever. According to the storyline, Mr. Tendernism teaches some time away from home or something. I don't know. And then, to force majeure this particular scenario, he tells Mr. Tendernism to say that you love me in front of the camera. Like, what type of employer situation is this? Even if it was some sort of partnership, I ain't gotta tell you I love you just because we're in some camera. Cause you trying to get business off of black folks, man. Get up out of here, bro, with your fraudulent ass behavior, bro. Like, what? What are we talking about, dude? Like, man, this, like I said, once again, I don't have a problem if it was a scenario where, Mr. Tenner, man is an elderly man. I don't know how old Mr. Tenner is, but he's an elderly, older man. But he just seems like somebody that's enjoying what he does. Just cooking some chicken, showing on the internet and making people happy. You know what I'm saying? Making people smile. He might not have the finances or the wit to want to have to run a business. Running a business, especially restaurants, is hard as hell. I get it. But if you're going to be the face of the restaurant, try to have some kind of equity in the business, if possible, at the very least. But bam, let's say you don't have none of that. Cool. But the way that things played, the way this owner, right, a.k.a. the owner, wants to now get in the videos and then pretty much register trademark behind behind Mr. Tendernism back, Tendernism, register that as a trademark and all other stuff behind this man back, and then send him off on a flight, bro. Dead wrong for that. If I was the owner, all I would have to do, bro, I'd do like Pearl Milling Company did, or whatever the name of the company that's behind Aunt your Mama and Uncle Ben did. I just put them as a face and I collect the check on the back end, right? If that's really what's really popping off. Ain't no need of you now trying to get in front of the camera because now you seen that crowds are coming in specifically to see Mr. Tendernism. Let him be the mascot. If that's what he cool with being. You know what I'm saying? Let him be that. You collect your check. But now, see, you done effed up when you denied Mr. Tendernism being able to get his bag from Keith Lee, and then you done sent him on the first flight home. Because people are saying, a.k.a. that was just basically your dressed up way of maybe firing Mr. Tendernism. I don't know if that's true. Mr. Tendernism could very well be back at the time of this publication. I do not know. But I do know that to me, it looks pretty fraudulent to me in my eyes as far as the business moves that's happening with the a.k.a. the owner. Okay? Once again, if I was the owner of this particular establishment and this person just bringing me in good ass business, hey, bro, go ahead. That's my art. You part of my marketing budget. Keep doing it. Keep going. Keep putting out them videos. Keep bringing people to my business. Keep doing what you do. I'm gonna stay. All I'm gonna do is just run these receipts in the back end, make sure the restaurant does what we got to do, and we're gonna keep this ship going as long as we can. Nah, he got jealous. Apparently, allegedly, he got jealous, right? He wanted the limelight. He wanted attention. But sorry, bro. I think your restaurant's gonna crash because at the end of the day, you ain't got the same swag as Mr. Tenderism do, and you also can't do bad to God's people, bro. You can't do bad to God's people. So yeah, man, this is all I gotta say about this Tenderism situation. Let me know what you feel about it in the comments. Like and subscribe. Have a good day. Some of your favorite books from the creative mind of Michael D. Beckford are coming soon to quicklit.com.